And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head to death. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Now give me your boom.
It's the weekend, and he is Jalen Rose.
What up, Doe?
And I'm David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in.
And we are Jalen Jacoby. What do we do?
We give the fine individuals who have kindly supported this program for 6 years exactly what they want when they want it, whether podcast, radio, or television.
Well, NBA fans got what they wanted. They had a big matchup on Thursday night between the Warriors and the Celtics. If you watch or listen to this program, you know I had a very strong prediction about how this would play out on Tuesday. Let's see. After defeating the Brooklyn Nets on Tuesday nights, the Celtics have won 13 straight games. Yay. The bad news, the streak is ending Thursday night when the Warriors come to town. The streak didn't end. I did not predict that correctly. The Warriors lost to the Celtics. The Celtics had a 17-0 run late in the third quarter. All five starters finished in double digits. They held the Warriors to 88 points, shooting only 40% from the floor. You see Kyrie Irving getting buckets late there. Kevin Durant had a chance to make it a game. Couldn't. And there you have it. The Celtics are now 14 games winning in a row, and they beat the best team in the NBA, defending champion Warriors. How impressed were you by the Celtics last night?
Extremely impressed. The only Golden State Warrior that played to their normal productivity was Andre Iguodala. Mm-hmm. And he had a couple of nice bang-bangs during the game,
backwards
too.
On somebody.
But other than that, it was the lowest point total in a game, 88, in which KD, Steph, Clay, and Draymond all participated.
Ooh, good nugget, Jalen.
And this shows me the Boston Celtics have moved into a category that has only been beneficial for two different teams the last handful of years.
What's that?
That's the San Antonio Spurs and the Golden State Warriors, teams that are top five on both ends.
Ooh.
And when you're able to put out that level of intensity, multiple people playing well, being able to switch multiple situations, these two teams, and I talk about the fiber of your squad, happens between 6'6" and 6'9". That's why I always talk about positionless basketball. If you can have those guys that are able to dribble, pass, and shoot, be interchangeable parts. These two teams have more players that fit that criteria than any squads in the whole league.
Well, it seems like you're not alone in thinking that the Celtics are now in a new category, because after the game, Steph was asked about the likelihood that the Warriors could face the Celtics in the finals. And here's what he had to say. Quote, very, very likely. They're playing the best today in the East. They have to beat Cleveland, who has done it 3 years in a row. We'll see. I heard the weather is great here in June, so we'll see. Jalen Rose, do you think Steph Curry really believes that the Celtics will come out of the East and be in the NBA Finals?
He had to give them their props, and they're a 50-50 shot, considering they're going to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
The Celtics.
Correct.
I'm not so sure. I wouldn't write them into the Eastern Conference Finals right now.
I am, and I would. That's without Gordon Hayward. But I'm still taking the Cleveland Cavaliers. Mm-hmm. But I think the thing that people aren't paying attention to in that quote is the Houston Rockets are in the West.
I was about to say that too. Like, he's like, oh, the weather's nice here in June. Like, he already assumed that the Warriors were in the finals. Now, granted, that was part of the question, but a savvy athlete would normally acknowledge that they still have to win the West to get to the finals.
And Steph Curry was disappointed that he only had 9 points. How about a Kyrie Irving that was pretty pedestrian the entire game on the offensive end, ended up mustering 11 points in the fourth quarter while the entire Golden State Warriors team had 10. Mm-hmm. Jaylen Brown was terrific, playing with a heavy heart, lost his best friend. I appreciate the maturity of him being able to perform under those tough circumstances.
Absolutely. What I found more concerning than Steph Curry's 3 for 14 from the floor was this new haircut that he debuted. Seems like he's got some little twists going on, and like, I think that looks fine, Jalen, but I'm concerned about what he has in store for the future of this hairstyle. Dreadlock Steph.
I'm not mad at it either way.
Really? I think Aisha might shut it down, though.
It just right now, it's at the embryo stage.
It doesn't look right.
And when you start to grow your hair out and you're trying to get to a hairstyle.
He's on the way there, but he's not there.
It's middle ground, no question about it. I'm not mad at it either way.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the Rockets, because you and I watched the Celtics-Warriors game. It was a good game. It was intense. It wasn't that entertaining. It was low scoring, but it was intense, and it was close at the end. And everyone got a little tired, especially on the East Coast. And everybody fell asleep. There's only 2 games last night, and everybody fell asleep. And while everyone was sleeping on the East Coast, Chris Paul's debut with the Rockets did not slow down James Harden at all. The Houston Rockets dropped 90 on the Suns in the first half. Harden had 48 points in the game. Jalen, in his last 6 games, Harden has scored, listen, 56, 35, 38, 26, 38, and now 48 points. Right now is James Harden the best scorer in the NBA?
Absolutely. He's the most complete scorer in the game. No question about it. It didn't take this year for me to figure it out. How about offensive player? Because think about it like this.
All the assists.
He's led the league in points and led the league in assists. Not too many. Nobody else in the league can say that. That's truly impressive. With that being said, they now have a legitimate squad that if anybody's going to beat the Golden State Warriors, it's going to be Houston.
It feels like that right now.
People were saying that last year. I wasn't buying it. They didn't have Chris Paul. Capella's improved. Eric Gordon's improved. A second year in D'Antoni's system. The Houston Rockets have a legitimate chance to upset the Golden State Warriors in the West. And I'm going to take it a step further.
Uh-oh.
We talk about the best players in the league.
Gimme.
He gets left off. And yes, I'm disappointed with how he ended last year.
Sure.
That ho-hum performance against the San Antonio Spurs.
Sure.
James Harden will win MVP this year.
It feels like it right now. It certainly feels like it because what he does scoring for himself and the assist numbers that you mentioned, like he creates so much of a large percentage of his team's baskets.
And also, Russell was amazing last year, averaging a triple-double. But James Harden was flirting with one.
Sure was. Sure was. And the addition of Chris Paul, we would assume that perhaps Harden's numbers would go down or his prominence in that offense would go down. It does feel like early in the season, again, he's only played a few games and Chris Paul's played 2, it feels like that won't be the case here with Houston. And when you look at the Western Conference, Houston's at the top right now. Yep. Last night, his second game of the season, his first game back from, I believe it was a thigh injury, a leg. Played 21 minutes, was 3 for 7. However, still finished the game with 10 assists. What does it tell you that Chris Paul was able to get 10 assists in 21 minutes playing for the Houston Rockets?
Well, a lot of stats beyond just the fact that Chris Paul is a terrific playmaker in today's games are going to look a lot different and more inflated because of the pace of the game. The more possessions the teams have, shots are taken faster in the shot clock.
Especially when you score 90 in the first half.
No question about it. But what it shows me is that they have a legitimate opportunity this year to go toe-to-toe with the Golden State Warriors. After last night's basketball, most people are going to talk about the greatness of the Celtics and can that now dethrone LeBron James. I don't think it can because no Gordon Hayward, Isaiah Thomas is going to come back, Tristan Thompson's going to come back.
Yep.
But in the West, as you mentioned, when everybody was asleep, I was watching that game. And James Harden will win MVP this year. And so based on the fact that he's the most complete offensive player in the entire league, name me somebody else that's led the league in total points and assists.
On the same year? I can't.
Ever.
Someone has. In the history of the NBA.
That's what makes it a great question.
Even from one year to another year. Do you know this or do we have to research
Tiny
this?
Archibald.
Oh, there you go.
And so, with that being said, adding Chris Paul, the improvement of Capella, the improvement of Eric Gordon, who's in shape now, is a better ball handler, always been a terrific knockdown shooter. Trevor Ariza, who's a Swiss Army knife, one of my favorite glue guys in the game. I wasn't watching necessarily Golden State play against Boston. I was watching them play against Houston, even though they weren't on the same court at the same time.
Explain.
They legitimately, if they get hot, can be a team to go toe-to-toe with the Golden State Warriors. I have not said that about a squad in the last couple of years.
I would say I was watching the Rockets, and they put out a lineup of Tucker, Capella, Ariza, Gordon, and Harden. And you're looking at it and you're saying, you know what, this team used to be an offensive juggernaut? But with the addition of Tucker,
toughness.
You look at it, you're like, they can play defense. Ariza can guard your wing, and then you got Capella who can rim protect. You got and Eric Gordon, James Harden aren't going to, they're not exactly the Avery Bradley or Tony Allen or whatever, but they're decent defenders. Like, they can play defense now.
And usually, I'll break it down for everybody like this. As long as you're not giving up blow-bys, and what that's considered is if a guy can do a move and beat you out the first dribble.
Just jab step behind you.
If it takes a guy 2 or 3 dribbles to get by you, help should be there on a good team. Period. No matter who's on the squad. You know where to be. The guy got to take 2 or 3 dribbles and get impeded anyway. Help is going to be there. And so that's what they're able to do, which protects Harden and Gordon under those circumstances.
I didn't expect Tucker to be as important to them as he is, but he really is. He played 33 minutes last night. And what he can do is we always talk about toughness and playing power forwards and rebounding, and he's kind of that workman. But a lot of those like workman, rebounder, power forward guys don't shoot the way that he shoots from 3, which is perfect for the Houston Rockets. Like, they need defense. They add that, but they don't sacrifice three-point shooting. He played 33 minutes last night off the bench, which is a lot. He was 2 for 4 from 3. I mean, this game was kind of out of hand, so you can't really look at the minutes and say this is normally what they're going to do. But his three-point shooting, I thought, was really helpful for them. And also Ryan Anderson, man.
I got to mention the name too. Ryan Anderson, one of the best knockdown stretch fours in the whole league.
It's just not even. It's when he pulls up, it's never at the three-point line. It's always behind it, and it's just like it's never a question of whether or not it's going in if he gets a good look.
I had to look this up last year. I'm watching the game. Like, wait a minute. Eric Gordon or Ryan Anderson are never standing on the three-point line when they shoot it. And there was a stat that of the people who shot from 25 feet or more, and by the way, the three-point line is 23 feet, so you're already almost a foot and a half behind it.
Pretty big step behind it.
They were 2 of the top 3. The other was Steph Curry. And what that does is allow your ball handler to now turn the corner.
Yep, exactly. Explain to people who don't understand what that means.
When I'm at the top of the floor, the indentions on the court are called the wings. And so if a shooter is literally standing on the line, the defender who's in a really good position facing the ball handler that's driving left, say James Harden is driving left, he now has an option. Am I going to slide 1.5 steps to get toward the lane line and cut Harden off and force him to pass it to my guy and then try to recover and contest the shot late? Versus when he's 2 feet off of the line, now you really have to make an either-or choice. That's a big difference.
And 1.5 steps turning into 2.5 steps.
That's an open shot in the league.
Exactly. That just means that it's one or the other. And with Harden is so prolific and fast that you might not even impede his drive to the hole if you even try.
Correct.
When you're that far away.
Because you know how it is. You're on the wing. You think you're going to slap at the ball. All he do is put his arms through there and you slap in his arm.
And then he gets a foul call and then he gathers and finishes. We've seen him do it for years and years and years. It's what he does. Yep. It's interesting. I'm excited about this Rockets team.
And shout out to Daryl Morey.
Shout out.
He's done a terrific job of building that squad and molded it into one that he thought it could be. It is now.
And having a philosophy and sticking to it. You know what I mean? Like, I think that he gets pegged as like the analytics guy too much to a point. You know what I mean? It's like the analytics guy wouldn't have gone out and got Chris Paul. You know,
or Tucker.
Yeah, you look at analytics, sure, but you also just use that as one of the variables that you consider when you are putting together a team.
Yeah, it's a tool in the toolbox.
Exactly. We had Thursday Night Football we should keep you abreast on. Pittsburgh Steelers waxed the Tennessee Titans in those funky uniforms. Roethlisberger had 4 touchdowns. Antonio Brown caught the ball in his helmet. Did you see that one?
That was crazy. He had 3 overall.
It was crazy. He had 3 touchdowns, and all that matters is I had both Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown in my fantasy league.
Stop it.
Yeah, in the Jalen Jacoby fantasy league.
Good job, sir.
Started them both. I'm sitting here on Friday morning with 72 points.
That's crazy.
Whoever the Purple Cobras are, they're going down.
Shout out.
Now, we got to talk about the Warriors-Celtics game, but I wanted to go a little bit more in depth on that. Because when you look at what the Celtics are doing, you say, anyone that they bring in the door, they incorporate and they get the most out of. But I just want to bring that to life by mentioning some people. Tice, I think his name is. Okay, he only played 3 minutes. He was in Europe last year. Shane Larkin, who didn't play, he was in Europe last year overseas. Like they're taking overseas basketball players and getting legitimate time out of them. I still don't believe. Why don't I believe in the Celtics, Jalen?
Because they lost Gordon Hayward.
I would say if they had a 7-game series against Toronto starting tomorrow, I would say I don't know.
Correct.
I don't know who it is. I don't know who's going to win. Probably go 7. I don't know who's going to win.
And also, there's something to be said for experience. Kyrie has it in the playoffs. Marcus Morris and Al Horford have it. Marcus Smart has it. He was on the squad last year.
So does everybody on the Raptors.
But Jaylen Brown got some last year. Tatum doesn't have any. I really love the fact that the Boston Celtics have put themselves in position to not only be successful right now, but be a team that's one to be reckoned with in the future. It's really impressive. So I don't think it's their time just yet.
Do you know why I'm so excited for the Celtics' success? Podfather.
I know. No question. No doubt.
Everything changes for the Podfather when the Celtics are good.
No question.
Everything changes for the Podfather.
Well, let me tell you what changes. He returns messages.
Yeah, he's all excited.
He hits you on Twitter.
Hoops. Yeah,
you know, he sends me tweets.
Yeah, he's trying to get it going back and forth between the Pistons and the Celtics on Twitter.
You know,
he's when the Podfather's happy, I'm happy. Big shout out to Bill Simmons.
Hit the OG up.
Hit him up.
Without him, there's no us.
Hit him up during the break.
Hit up the Podfather. Pull out your phone right now and hit up the Podfather.
Shout out.
Hey girl, have you done something new with your scales? Using new moisturizer? Nice. It really brings out the hazel in your eyes. Oh, hold on. Are you using whitening strips too? Your fangs look good, girl. Really good.
A really charming snake charmer? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
Wait, what? Have you been doing Pilates too?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Jalen, everyone agrees that the one-and-done rule in college basketball isn't really working. Like, I don't think there's too many people that love this current system and want it to stay. Adam Silver and Michelle Roberts are among those people that want to see it change. They met with the newly formed Commission on College Basketball to discuss changing it, and our colleague Woj is reporting this.
Shout out.
Quote, Adam Silver could be pushing the sport closer to high school players having the opportunity to directly enter the league again. For that change to happen, though, the union would probably need to cede the one-and-done rule and agree to a mandate that players entering college must stay for 2 years before declaring for the draft. Jalen, what do you think about this proposal instead of one and done, a none or two type of rule?
So I remember being someone that actually said this exact proposal at least 10 years. I'm pretty sure a lot of people can Google me saying it, in particular on Grantland and on Countdown. Just like a lot of positions for people have changed as it relates to whether athletes should get a stipend in college or not based on the amount of money that has infiltrated the collegiate game and all the players get is their scholarship and room and board paid. I don't feel the same way anymore. I think that free market should represent that in the NBA. If you're able to come out after high school and NBA teams want to draft you, you should be able to go make a living.
Do you think you should be able to come out after freshman year, which is not what this proposal says?
When you go to college, and if you decide to leave after your freshman year, you should also be able to. I'm going to give you some evidence. This year's rookie class. This year, the rookies are balling.
Yes. There's at least 9 rookies that do not look like they need another year of college before they need to enter the NBA.
My point exactly.
So you're saying, I agree with you about this. None and two is better than one and done, but you know what's better than all of that? Allowing people to take jobs that are over 18 if they want to take a job when they're over 18.
It's only 30 teams in the league. There shouldn't be a rule that protects the league from drafting players that aren't ready. That's all this is about. It isn't about the players.
Don't draft someone if you don't think they're ready to play NBA basketball. Draft the players that you think are ready. It's that simple. You just put a lot of time and energy and resources into this. So our man Tom Haberstroh, former colleague of ours, he had this report about Kyrie Irving and all these different players that are taking on these vegan diets. Vegan diets are all the rage right now, and that they help stamina and all this focus on health and diet. Well, our guy Jordan Clarkson here in Los Angeles doesn't necessarily adhere to that strict of a vegan diet.
He'd be the Lakers starting point guard in 10 games.
Let's listen to Jordan Clarkson's game day routine.
My routine is whatever, man. I might wake up and eat some fried chicken or something in the morning, come here, get some shots up, go to the candy store, some Skittles, take a nap, watch a movie, might play some video games.
Oh, Jordan. Somebody's on the telephone.
What's happening?
Adam Silver. It's an important call. You must take it.
Yeah, Mr. Silver, what's going on?
You officially failed your drug test.
What?
Just got the results.
What do you mean?
I saw your interview.
I was just talking about my game day routine.
The first thing that came out of your mouth was fried chicken.
In the morning. Let's take a look. Let's just take a look at exactly what he said in case you didn't fully process that. He wakes up in the morning, eats fried chicken or something. Then he goes to shoot around. Then he goes to the candy store to get Skittles. Then he watches a movie. Then he plays video games. Then he takes a nap. Then he drives to the arena to get some more shots up. That's a failed test. That looks like a Spicoli's day. That looks like an average unemployed stoner's day. Fried chicken for breakfast, play a video game, take a nap, watch a movie.
Shout out.
Jordan Clarkson, that's a failed test. Next, we have this. It's nice to see the military get saluted in the National Football League. You know what I mean? We all support our troops and respect everything the military does for this country, defending it and our freedom. However, the Navy had to apologize today. There was a rogue Navy pilot over Washington State flying around. This picture of, I believe it's called a contrail. A contrail is the trail that a plane leaves, the smoke that a plane leaves, Jalen. The contrail is in the shape of what can only be described as what?
A man's anatomy from the waist down.
Yeah, male genitalia, I would go with.
Oh, boy.
So you haven't seen this picture yet.
Oh, boy.
What if you're just on a walk with your kids around the neighborhood enjoying the beautiful fall in Washington State?
It's a jump rope. It's turned upside down.
So what do you think? So when I don't know how military ranking works, but when the corporal or the marshal or the major, when he calls the young pilot into the office and says, McCluskey, look at this picture. Look at this picture, McCluskey. What were you doing out there? What do you think McCluskey says?
I just did that before I quit. I'm out of here.
We all have those imaginary quitting days of all the different things that we would do before quitting.
That's what that is.
It's like final day of senior year of high school. It's just like, I'm just going to do whatever I want.
That's all it is.
That's exactly what that is. He doesn't want that job. He doesn't want to be a pilot anymore. If you want to be a pilot, you do not put that in the sky. I did like your upside down jump rope thing, though. Last week, Mexican authorities seized a van. There were some strange things happening between the Mexico and Arizona border. In this van, there was a bazooka. They weren't using the bazooka as a weapon per se. They were using the bazooka to fire marijuana rockets over the border of Mexico and into Arizona. Huge bundles of marijuana flying over the border, landing in America. Do you think this operation is led by Mitch McGary? We have no idea what he's been doing since he's been out of the league.
Get off my fellow Michigan
alone. You know
alone.
that he's a habitual medicinal guy. Maybe this is what he's been up to. No?
We can find more people that I'm sure are more dedicated to the cause than him.
Here's what this made me think.
You are Die Easy. You used to love Lance. You used to love Mitch. Now you're throwing shots.
I'm Die Easy. Here's one thing this made me think of is right now there's like 150 17-year-olds in Arizona being like, let's get in the car. Let's get in the car. Let's drive to the border and just look at the sky and see if something lands next to us. I got hit by a car, Jalen.
What?
Yeah, man. Driving the minivan, got the twins in the back, Quincy in the car seat.
What?
Wifey in the passenger seat. Driving right down Glendale, right outside of the Trader. What's that place called? 365. Just sitting there at a light, just sitting there. I'm just stopped. I'm just stopped.
The minivan mafia capo?
The minivan mafia capo. I'm just stopped there. Boom! Ran into me from behind.
Where was?
Ran into me from behind.
Your police escort?
I don't get down like that. When you're the capo, you don't need that. But it was one of those things where it was not my fault. You know what I mean? I'm looking at my wife like, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm just sitting here. And the guy, he knew it was his fault. He said I wasn't paying attention. The first thing I said to him real quick, you on your phone, weren't you? You know what he said?
Yep.
I said it so fast that he couldn't think of a lie. I just said it so quick. I was like, you on your phone, weren't you? He was just like, yep. And I was like, uh-huh. Don't text and drive. Stay off your phone. The next thing you know, you can bump into a minivan. It's got 3 tiny little human beings inside of it.
I'm glad everything is okay.
Yeah, we're good. So we're coming into the weekend as we do on Fridays. We like to give you a very quick snapshot of what's happening this weekend. So we'll go through the games in the NFL, a couple NBA games, a couple college games,
if it was Judge Judy, movies. If it was Judge Judy, would you sue?
No. My neck hurt for like a little bit, but, I'm not tripping. I'm fine. I'm not the type of dude to sue for money. You know what I mean? If I legitimately have a problem, or if I really need to get the car fixed, or something's really broken, sure, we can go through that process. But, I don't take advantage of situations if it's not real. My neck doesn't hurt. I'm fine.
Karma.
First, we got the early games. Remember the Bucks and Dolphins actually missed their Week 1 game because of Hurricane Irma. They are back, and they're facing off in the 1 o'clock games in Miami. Whatever.
Bucks were one of those teams, like the Raiders, people were ready to jump on their bandwagon.
Sure were.
And crown them a team that can advance in the playoffs. Jameis Winston was licking his fingers the last time I saw him playing.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go with Miami.
I'm going with Miami, too, just because one of our producers, Alex Montilla, loves the Miami Dolphins and won't stop talking about anything that's not Miami-related.
And one of my good friends, Stephen Ross, is their owner.
Oh, man, I got a producer on our show, and you got the owner of the team. Okay, see how this goes. Then we have the Lions going into Chicago. That wasn't a very spirited roar there.
Because we ain't won yet.
5-4, you better beat the Bears in Soldier Field.
And we got 2 games in a few days span, because our Super Bowl is Thursday.
Who y'all play Thursday? Don't know.
Minnesota, maybe.
Okay, that'll be a loss. Jaguars, the 6-3 Jaguars led by Blake Bortles. Again, the 6-3 Jaguars led by Blake Bortles.
They're led by their defense.
Going into Cleveland to play the Browns. That's a win for the Jags. We're not even going to talk about it. 8-point spread. If you're a gambling type, I would definitely take the Jags on that one. Even -8. Barron, you back me up on that one? Ravens going in to Green Bay to face the Packers.
This is interesting because
they're both bad.
But a lot of times when we talk about quarterbacks in the league, Joe Flacco doesn't get mentioned, though he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback
and
Joe basically has a maximum contract. No, he isn't. But in this game without Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to take Baltimore because it seems like John Harbaugh finds ways to get the most out of the least, and Macklin's returning.
Definitely going to be a Packers win in Green Bay. The Ravens not impressed me so far. Now we got a good game, Jalen.
What is it?
We got a good game now.
What is it?
I know this is going to be the game that I'm going to be looking at when I'm at my little bar at the end, right around the end of these games. I always go to watch the fourth quarter so I can watch them all at once, get away from the family. This is what I will be watching. Rams going into Minnesota against the Vikings. 2 teams that are 7-2. I believe the Vikings have said that they're sticking with Case Keenum, which I think is the right thing to do.
Yeah, he balled last week.
Threw a couple horrific interceptions at the end of the game.
Teddy Bridgewater out there against the Rams defense now.
No. Aaron Donald will put you right back on the IR. Jalen Rose, who do you like in this game?
I'm going with the Rams.
I'm a die easy Rams
fan.
The
highest scoring team in the league. Let me say that again. The highest scoring team in the league.
Just Woods, Watkins, Kupp, Gurley, Austin, Goff. They've got someone at every single skill position that's having a good year. Watkins, but still, he can spread the field and allow other people to get open. I love the Rams this year.
Such a die easy.
Yeah, man, that's what I do.
Never talked about the Rams in his life before this year.
What are you talking about? Eric Dickerson was a big thing when I was a kid. The Redskins going into New Orleans to face the surprising Saints.
The team from Washington has been an enigma this year. I'm going with the Saints. Their defense has improved. They have Drew Brees, Mark Ingram, big assistant, Kamara coming out of the backfield, catching the ball.
The Saints have morphed into this, like 4 yards in a cloud of dust team. Like, you think about Drew Brees and we'll score 45 and you guys will score 41 and we'll still get the win. Like, that's what the program has been for the last couple of years. And if you haven't been paying attention, now it's like we'll play really good defense and we'll run the ball up the middle with Ingram, and then we'll kind of get Kamara as a little like mix and match thing. And it's not necessarily here's Drew Brees, throw the ball for 500 yards and see if we can win.
Sean Payton is being a mad scientist with the offense again.
The Chiefs going into MetLife to face the Giants to disappoint the Karam household once again.
Here's the thing. A terrible weekend in my house, our house, is when the Lions and the Giants lose. The problem is the Giants been losing every week.
The Lions are going to beat the
And
Bears.
the Lions lose every other week.
The Giants lost to the 49ers last week. The 49ers. And then we had the game that no one will watch, the Cardinals at the Texans. 21 Savage at the quarterback.
Larry Fitzgerald, 1-year contract extension. Give me 10 more catches this week. Need it for fantasy.
How's your fantasy team doing?
Lost last week, 7-3.
7-3? How do you feel your chances are for the league?
This is a big swing couple of weeks.
Do you get paid for second place?
You get paid for first, second, and third.
Oh, okay. How do you get third? You have a semifinal playoff?
Have a Final Four. And then the team that has the most points.
Oh, okay.
In the consolation game.
I got you. You think you're going to get paid this year?
I got to see how everything plays out. So
7-3 is pretty good. You
fantasy update. I lost Odell Beckham this year.
Yep.
Lost Deshaun Watson.
Yep. But he wasn't your first quarterback anyway.
I know, but I picked him up during the year.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on with Fournette. He was my bell cow earlier in the year.
Something happened this week. He's practicing. He's not practicing. This ain't good. I don't think he's playing this weekend.
And so that's sent my roster into a tailspin where I had to trade for TJ Yeldon. I ended up having to trade Sterling Shepard to get Greg Olsen, who's going to come back for the Panthers soon. So the key to my fantasy squad is players like Baldwin, Fournette.
Oh, you're not getting paid.
And Sanu.
Oh, you're not getting paid. No. I'm sorry to hear it, Jalen. I was with you until that last part. You're like, the key to my team is Baldwin, Fournette, and Sanu. Oh, no, Jalen. Oh, does Molly know about this?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
She did not want to see Sterling Shepard go.
Oh, no. If you saw the press release today about the ESPN radio lineup, we want to give a big congratulations to everyone who's got new shows or shifted shows or everything. And if you noticed that you didn't see Jalen Jacoby on there, fear not, listeners and watchers. This does not mean there will be less Jalen Jacoby in your life. It means that there will be
different
Jalen Jacoby in your life.
We ain't.
And one thing you know if you listen to this show,
going nowhere.
We will always leave you with a dope pod to step to every single day of the week. That is not changing. Fear not. The late games, we'll go through these quickly. We got the Bills against the Los Angeles Chargers.
Bills searching for an identity.
5-4. You
made a change at quarterback.
Playoffs.
It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. They have to find a way to just give Shady the ball. Whatever the Pittsburgh Steelers do with Le'Veon Bell, the Bills should be doing with Shady McCoy. They don't have the requisite weapons, clearly, of the Steelers, but just that approach and mentality. I'm going to take Phillip Rivers to have a big game, needed for fantasy.
Oh, there you go.
And the Buffalo Bills to win. Their defense has to play better, too. You can't bench the entire defense, but, man, they didn't help Tyrod Taylor keep his job.
No, they didn't. I'm shocked that Tyrod Taylor is not the starting quarterback for this team.
They don't want to pay him.
I'm shocked.
They didn't want to pay him last year, so they kept him out so he wouldn't get injured. And the same thing is basically taking place right now.
Next game, we have the Bengals at 3-6 going into Mile High to play the Broncos, also at 3-6. So I would say, which team are you more surprised is sitting at 3-6 right now?
One team at least won the Super Bowl recently, the Broncos. So it allows them to have sort of a pass. The Bengals, along with the Bucks and the Raiders, were teams that people look at on paper and be like, they're so talented. This is going to be their year. Look what they picked up in the offseason. Look at all of the things on paper. And then before you know it, the game starts. I think this is a big game for the Bengals. That's who I'm going with.
I think the Broncos are going to win that game at home, but I also think it doesn't really matter because both these teams are not going to make the playoffs. We have this game, which, if you would have asked me at the Jalen Rose Leadership Academy golf outing, which is always like a week before the NFL season starts.
Yep.
If you were to say the Patriots are going to play the Raiders in week 10, I would say, oh, AFC Championship game preview. Well, guess what? It doesn't feel like that now. It's going to be in Estadio Azteca in Mexico City. The Patriots against the Raiders. I guess it's a home game for the Raiders. What has happened to the Raiders this year?
They haven't been able to run the football.
Yeah.
Derek Carr hasn't been next level lights out like you want him to be. Amari Cooper has had an amazing game, and then he have a couple of head-scratching drop pass games. Their defense struggled last year, continues to not be able to get off the field when it needs to. And they're in the AFC, which is just a tougher conference.
Yep.
Week to week, especially when you're playing against those opponents.
Sunday Night Football, the Eagles at the Cowboys. This has a big game feel. Even though the Cowboys could potentially be 5-5 after this has a big game feel to it. Why am I excited about this game?
You're excited about it because we talked about Philadelphia being that team this year, and it's actually happening.
Yep.
Carson Wentz is a complete football player.
Is Carson Wentz a redhead?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
And what I mean by a complete football player is he can run, he can throw. He doesn't always slide. He seems like one of the guys that just happen to play quarterback. They have size on the outside that could go deep as well as across the middle. They keep backs. Like I love bars, they love backs. The last few years, even if it didn't work out, they'll have, Ryan Matthews, Darren Sproles.
Garrett Blunt,
they just keep some backs. And now they have Jay Ajayi. And their defense has been lights out. I've talked about it all year. You see Brandon Graham bossing up on the defensive side and Fletcher Cox on the line. I'm going with Philly, especially without Ezekiel Elliott for the Dallas Cowboys.
Do you remember the Michigan Wolverine football team? We haven't talked about them for at least a month.
Going to the game against Ohio State.
Well, they have a game against Wisconsin. Do you think they can upset the Badgers?
I do.
In Wisconsin?
I do. These are the type
Will
of
you do
games.
10 push-ups if they lose?
Sure. These are program wins. These are the kind of wins that when Michigan beats Wisconsin, Jim Harbaugh's going to go to the podium and say, they're still not us. These are program wins. When you go in the living rooms, you say, I know Wisconsin had a nice season, but we had to handle it.
Can we be honest and be real, though? If they lose, it's starting to look like Jim Harbaugh, might not be Jim Harbaugh.
Stop it. Stop it.
We'll see. A couple good NBA games. Thunder at the Spurs shortly.
Thunder, no Kawhi.
Warriors at the 76ers.
That's going to be a great game. I expect the Warriors to respond after their loss against Boston.
I think they'll be a little bit motivated. They've got a couple days rest. They're going to be in Philly. They just kind of, not embarrassed, but they just lost on national television. Steph Curry's hair was a little embarrassing. And then we have the Wizards at the Raptors, both at 9-5.
These are second-tier Eastern Conference teams behind the Cavs, as well as the Boston Celtics.
Raptors have been good lately.
DeMar DeRozan.
The Raptors have put up, no one's talking about the Raptors
Kyle
this
Lowry.
year, but they've put up some wins. They've beaten some really good teams this year. Of those 9 wins, I think they've got wins against the Rockets, and a couple other signature wins.
Valanciunas.
And now, real quick, I want a 10-second Jalen Rose movie review on movies you haven't seen yet. Should I go see Justice League?
You should go see Justice League.
Why?
You sound like a lot of superheroes.
Yep, you're right. Roman J. Israel Esquire.
I'm going to see it. Uncle Denzel's in it.
Perfect.
And this is when Denzel is serious. When he has a gap in his teeth and he gains 30 pounds.
If I was an actor, you got to pay me to gain 30 pounds. Because that's going to be hard to get back off.
Hit the brakes.
No, for real. For real. I'm not playing.
You really don't think Denzel getting paid?
No, I know Denzel. I'm saying extra. I'd be like, okay, here's my number. They're going to be like, oh, no, you got to gain 30 pounds. I'd be like, all right, here's my number plus $3 million.
So instead of giving me $20 million, I need 23.
Yes, exactly.
That's like Halle Berry topless.
Mudbound, do you want to go see that?
No, that sounds like something that you watch in college.
Mary J. Blige is in it, though.
It sounds like Animal House.
Mary J. Blige is in it?
I love Mary J.
So you're gonna see
My
this
Life
one?
classic.
What about Attack of the Killer Donuts?
Not going to be able to do it. That's cultural.
That sounds cultural. We're going to open up our 1-800-FLOWERS Twitter feed. These people hit us up with @Jalen and Jacoby. They hit us with unpopular opinions, Jalen Rose. So these are our audience's unpopular opinions that you are going to evaluate. I'm going to evaluate as well. Are you ready, Mr. Rose?
Let's get it.
First one. It's from Anthony. My unpopular opinion is that Jalen Rose should be in the NBA Hall of Fame. You're already there. You were honored. You're honored.
Not in the NBA Hall of Fame.
There's a picture of you. There will be a picture of you getting scored on by Kobe.
That's your second reference to that today. Here's the thing. It's the Basketball Hall of Fame, which takes the totality of your career. My NBA career wasn't strong enough, especially if my college career got erased by something that wasn't my wrongdoing. Out of my control.
Life isn't fair. Life isn't fair. Life isn't fair. Reggie just got in my ear and said, did you hear that too? Reggie said your NBA career is strong enough to go to the Hall of Fame.
Thanks, Reg.
Reggie, yo, listen, Jalen, I love you. I legit love you, but sometimes you need to hear the truth. Your NBA career is not Hall of Fame worthy.
I said it wasn't.
Not even close to close.
I didn't win a championship.
But Reggie's just that ride or die dude that's like, yeah. He said, you got records in the finals. What record did you break in the finals?
Reg my Bundini Brown.
What record did you break in the finals? I don't remember that. That wasn't the finals, that was the playoffs. Yeah, the only thing you broke in the finals was Kobe's foot. Benjamin Cruz has an unpopular opinion. I like this one. See, this is an unpopular opinion. We just go hard. Cucumbers are the food of the devil.
I don't eat cucumbers.
Really?
Cultural.
Are cucumbers cultural?
Yes, you guys eat cucumbers. We eat
pickles.
pickles.
What do you mean, you guys?
We eat pickles.
Wait, cucumbers are cultural?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I've never thought about this. I'm going back through my memories and my histories.
Years in my life.
All the black kitchens that I've been in my life. When I'm over at my friend's house.
Years.
Don't remember any cucumbers in those drawers, the crispers.
But let me tell you something you have seen from those same friends. Them go to the store, buy a jar of pickles, eat the pickles, then drink the juice.
Spears only.
And then keep the jar.
Have you ever had a pickleback?
I have.
Picklebacks are good.
The Podfather had me drinking that.
He did? I love a pickleback. Shout out to the Podfather again. I didn't know cucumbers were cultural.
They are.
Ask
our audience. Tweet us if I'm wrong.
Let us know. Yeah, tweet us if I'm wrong. Cucumbers? You ever put salt on a cucumber? You ever slice up a cucumber, put salt on it? You don't even know about these things,
I'm going to tell you again. It's cultural. Individuals that look like you eat cucumbers.
When you go to Subway, you don't get
individuals
cucumbers
that look
on
like
your
me eat pickles.
Really?
Yes.
I eat pickles. I keep a jar of pickles in my house. No one else in my house eats pickles except for me. Spears only, though. Don't give me the huge, big pickle. Spears. What's your preferred pickle shape?
Deal. Oh, shape?
Yeah.
Actually,
slices, whole pickles, or spears? The sandwich ones are a new wrinkle,
growing
too.
up, it was the whole pickles.
Really? That's
No
like
doubt about it. No doubt
so
about
much
it.
pickle going on.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
I didn't know cucumbers were cultural.
Learn something every day.
Didn't know that. Billy Betson said this. This is the unpopular opinion. Jacoby got better hair than Jalen.
You do.
So Jalen immediately started looking at my hair. I'm going to say...
You do.
No.
You do.
No.
I agree. I know where they're coming from. You do.
What do you mean by that?
Because if me and you both woke up in the morning after 3 or 4 days, mine's would be peasy. Yours will look just like that.
Oh, good point. I've never combed my hair. I've never adjusted my hair using a utensil.
Guess what I did
I've never
today?
had to. I've never brushed my hair. I would say this. I would say your hair looks better. But, like, if we were, like you said, kind of like if we were just in the wild for a few days, my hair would look better.
No doubt.
So your hair is a higher maintenance, higher result. But if you factor in everything, mine's low, medium result.
Facts.
I do like your graves, though. This one's good.
That's one of your Jacobyisms, too, we got to own.
This one's good. This is from Eric Schmidt. Girl Scout cookies are not good. Let me explain what Eric Schmidt is getting after. I disagree. Girl Scout cookies are good, but if you put them relative to other cookie products, they're not winning. They're not even coming out top 10.
Oreos are my favorite.
That's what I'm saying. I could name so many different cookies. I could name 10 Petridge Farm flavors I like better than the Girl Scout cookies. Girl Scout cookies are more of an experience, but like the actual cookies are not that good. I'm rolling with Eric on this one. We
had this conversation before because you didn't like shortbread, and that's my favorite.
No, I don't like shortbread. I don't want cookies that don't taste like anything.
They taste excellent.
Grasshoppers, man, thin mints.
Love the mints too.
You need the mints.
Love that.
The difficulty with the mints is you have to break them before you dip them in milk so they can soak in something, because that chocolate shell, it's like waterproof. It's like a North Face around the cookie.
Here's a difficulty. It's almost like Charlie's Angels, and you never got a chance to see Charlie's face.
I don't even know what you're about to say, but I love it.
95% of the time you're buying Girl Scout cookies, they aren't from Girl Scouts.
Oh. It's always like their mom or something. Yeah, it's always like my daughter is doing this thing.
And why is that hustle seasonal?
Exactly. And also, I hope all the money goes to Girl Scouts. If I find out that somewhere there's like some Martin Shkreli dude that's like, that's got a mansion and owns a ranch in Texas based on the Girl Scouts, that'd disappoint me. Hey, you need some M&Ms? My basketball team needs some uniforms. Anyone who lives in New York knows the basketball team new uniform hustle. Come on now.
I got to give you the water hustle.
Which is that? Go to Costco and get 1 million of them for $1 and sell them for $1 a piece on a hot day?
No. Not to mess up anybody's hustle that listen to this program, but don't buy water from individuals on the side of the road when they're selling them in bottles.
Why is that? Oh.
Because what they do is they use tap water, close the top with a little bit of glue. So when you open it, it sounds like you're opening it for the first time.
Oh, man. I think if you're buying water on the side of the road, you're already hungry. You're just thirsty. You're desperate.
All right. And I can't front. I've become a lot more tech savvy within the last 3 months.
Oh, talk to me, Jalen.
It's actually 2017.
You got the
in
Bluetooth headphones?
Molly set up the Netflix on my phone.
Oh!
I'm able to watch some things.
You can watch Power on the flight before you fall asleep?
No doubt.
You only need 10 minutes of entertainment on a flight, though.
My daughter Mariah got me hooked up on the wireless earbuds.
Are we going to get you on IG?
That's next.
Okay.
I was so proud of this program yesterday.
Good.
I haven't been more enthusiastic to work with such hard-working, dedicated individuals. The retiring of the term wife beater is not only original content and so much hard work went into everybody who did participate in it happening, but I always feel good when we're originators.
Absolutely.
I always feel good when I'm watching Sunday Night Football and I hear Coogee rap going to commercial. It makes me feel good. To nobody else in the world, that means nothing. But I remember being on chain emails years ago on NBA Countdown.
Don't get fired.
Trying to get music on the program. And then we discovered we had a jukebox of free music. And then we were playing just the instrumental of certain songs. And then, before you know it, other industry individuals were doing it. Same with the Immortals on the Wall. I'm watching multiple programs on television. Before, it was just bobbleheads. It was just helmets. Maybe some pennants. Now I'm seeing shows that's hanging Immortals up. I ain't talking about my brother Michael Smith, who I did Numbers Never Lie with, and my sister Jamel Hill. Because when you're family, you can borrow things. Because you all in correlation. When I saw the Isaiah and Magic kissing on the cheek picture on the 6 o'clock Sports Center, I was like, I'm nabbing that.
So you took that one from her.
No question.
Okay.
That's why I'm on it.
Shout out to Jamel and Michael.
Shout out.
When we're looking for the straight talk, we get it from our audience. We get the people what they want. You can call 985-80-JALEN. You can leave us a voicemail, and we'll play it on the show just like this.
Yo, what's going on? This Chance calling out of Dallas, Georgia, by way of Albany, Georgia. Yo, Jalen, did you get that? Did you get that shout out that my boy Cy High gave you on the track Murder? Yeah, check that out. No dope on Sundays. And by the way, what do you think of Boston giving the Warriors the business? Big deal, or just another regular season game? Shout out Reggie. Yo, get the people what they want. And I think I'm a person, from what I understand. Am I a person, man? Yeah, I'm a person.
Thank you for the call. We appreciate the love.
No doubt.
What up, though, to Georgia? A couple of things. I think I'm cool, but what ends up happening is you need people around you to keep you cool.
And to let you know you're not that cool.
And to let you know you're not cool at all. And they let you know certain things you should not be doing. My nephew does that for me.
Shout out to Troy.
And so I can't make this up. He literally sent me that record today.
And you haven't listened to it.
I was rushing.
I mean, it's you work very hard to prepare for the show. I know you don't have a lot of free time.
But I do know about it. I am going to listen to it, and I'm going to tweet him and tell him thank you for the love.
So, a couple things. Do you think it mentions your hairline? Do you think it mentions the Fab Five? Do you think it mentions the 81-point game? Do you think it mentions current Jalen Rose analysis? What do you think it is? Let's just call it now. Like, what do you think it's in reference to? Sometimes it just rhymes.
How you going to try to take shots at me, though? Why you got to make it negative?
I'm not making it negative.
You said 81 game?
I also said hairline, your analysis, and Fab Five. Why are you focused on the negative?
Because. Why you got to be negative in here?
There's one negative because it's one of the things that you're notable for. It's like your taboo words. When your taboo card, you know taboo the game?
What's your taboo card?
My taboo card is not what we're discussing right now. This is just another conversation for another time.
You see this?
My taboo card is like minivans.
All positive.
Twins.
All positive.
Handsome.
All positive.
And intelligent and funny.
I think it probably references the name Jalen.
Probably.
Because that's what my nephew told me it did.
Okay. So there you go. There you go. I dig it. I want to listen to this too. Can you send it to me? I'll hit up Troy. I'm not going to ask you. I know you just talked about how technologically savvy you are, but you forwarding me a song just sounds. It would take you 7 minutes. I don't want to put you through that. You're very busy.
My iPhone been tripping lately. When I try to forward pictures and or videos, I go and click it, hit the green button, and it just frees up. It doesn't send. Have to swipe a couple of times, cut it on and off a couple of times. Did I mean I need a new phone?
Apple products are excellent, but they're also they're not long-term relationships. You know, I love my Apple products. I'm an Apple loyalist, but it seems like they have a shelf life. I don't know whether it's by design. I mean, I don't know.
The headphones and the cords are.
It sounds like it's by design. Feels like every time I buy a charger, I pay good money for it. Next thing you know, all frazzled doesn't work anymore. But who knows? Thank you so much for the call. I look forward to listening to that song. Shout to Georgia. Shout out. If you call 985-80-JALEN, you can leave us one. And if you leave us one, we'll play it on the show just like this.
Hey, guys. This is Dave calling from Victoria, British Columbia. Thank you for giving the people what they want every single time. Listen, here's the reason I'm calling. I'm a little ticked off. Brad Stevens is not getting enough respect and love through the NBA community, especially by the media. Jalen, I would expect you to be a guy that would pick up on this right away. Why isn't he the #1 revered coach in the NBA? He's not just one of the best upcoming young coaches in the league. You think about Avery Bradley, think about Jay Crowder. Look at their statistics now compared to what they were previously. Look at what they were before they came to the team. The stock value he increased in these guys. He offloaded them at the right time, following the perfect model. I don't know, they're hanging out with Belichick, but for whatever reason, they're finding a way to maximize the talent of every single guy that comes through the door. Everything they do is above expectations, not just during the winning streak, since the day he got there, since he's been a Butler. But I'm asking both of you, David Jacoby, Celtics fan, although a fair-weather fan, you're a Celtics fan, Jalen Rose, NBA great, please, guys, explain to me, validate to me, aside from the championships Pop has, why he isn't known as the best coach in the NBA. It's in our faces. People just aren't seeing them. Love you guys once again. Keep giving the people what they want and keeping it real for all of us all the time, every single time. Peace.
I love this caller. He had passion. I want someone that loves me as much as this caller loves Brad Stevens. But please answer his question.
Big shout out Dave, representing Vancouver. I loved that trip when they had an NBA team. A couple of things. David and I decided if Danny Ainge walks into a room and he was forced to take sodium pentothal, Doug Collins taught me that word.
True serum. We talked about this yesterday.
And somebody forced him to pick between Brad Stevens and Kyrie Irving. What did we decide?
Your best player and the coach. Your best player who affects how many points are on the board and the coach. We didn't think about that long. It was Kyrie, love you, got to go.
I've said this for the last 2 weeks since this streak has been going on. Everything that we're saying about the Celtics and now their best player, Kyrie Irving, we said last year about the Celtics and their best player, Isaiah Thomas. The common denominator is
Brad Stevens and the Shamrock. And Kyrie Irving, you watched the game last night. Until the fourth quarter, Kyrie Irving was playing a completely different game than he played previously with the Cavaliers. Like he's like a college, like a Division II college basketball point guard. He just dribbles up, passes to the wing, and then picks away.
Jacoby got mad watching the game.
I got real mad. I was like, you got Kyrie Irving there as one of the best scorers in the game. You're down by 10. Like, this ain't working. Let him take it to the basket.
They continue to do what they do.
They stuck with the system, trusted the process, and got the W. Thank you so much for your calls, all of you. Don't forget, if you call 985-80-JALEN, you can leave us a voicemail. Continue to do so. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. I'm glad you made Jalen and Jacoby part of your day. You can make Jalen and Jacoby part of your day every day if you subscribe to the podcast. If you're already subscribed to the podcast, make sure you rate and review the podcast on Apple, iTunes. We'll be back on Monday.